Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the delegate who is defending this rise for a series of questions and yield?
Mr. Speaker, I rise and yield.
Delegate Poindexter. Delegate yields.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd ask the delegate, 2 weeks ago, we reported on this floor the results of a study that was done by the reputable consultancy called Dewberry that took a look at the cost of sea level rise in the Virginia Beach Tidewater area and concluded that the amount necessary to remediate that sea level rise would be in the range of $50 to $270 million a year. Do you dispute the results of that study?
Mr. Speaker, I would say to the gentleman that the sea has been coming up in Tidewater literally forever. I used to live there for like 20 years. But no, I can't dispute that they are any better, though, than any other study that might make a prediction on that, because northeast winds are really one of the major contributors to the flooding in the area.
Mr. Speaker, will the delegate yield for another question?
Will the delegate yield for another question?
I yield, Mr. Speaker.
So, Mr. Speaker, I have breaking news here. Breaking news from the Fox News Network. And it says that 2018 was the 4th hottest year on record, to add to the other years where we broke the records, which include 2016, 2017, and 2015. This study was done by NASA, and I'd ask the gentleman, does the gentleman dispute the conclusions that were articulated on Fox News and through the NASA report?
Mr. Speaker, I would say to the gentleman that I congratulate him on choosing a fine news work to get his news work on. As far as to his directed question, this amendment is about where the money goes from a executive agency effort that does not come through the General Assembly. It's not an argument on climate change. It's simply saying that to the extent that that is to be addressed through regional compacts, then the money and everything needs to come through the General Assembly.
Mr. Speaker, speaking to the amendment.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen of the House, I promise during this speech I will never use the phrase Trump tax scheme. Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen of the House, this is the first of 2 amendments that strike at the heart of efforts to address climate change and control CO2 emissions through the RGGI process, the compact of several states in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. You have heard some of the discussion. I don't think this discussion is over yet, because I think that over time people will come to understand how significant the problems are, especially in Tidewater and Virginia Beach. And sometimes, Mr. Speaker, you have to invest money to address a problem. So where do we want to invest that money? We want it invested in Virginia Beach, in Gloucester, in Pocosin, on the Eastern Shore, in the Northern Neck. That's what this compact is about. And your failure, your approval of this amendment means that we cannot invest that money. So I hope that you will vote against this amendment and stand with the people who are going to be affected by this, so we can get some needed money to them to help them out. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Delegate from Franklin, Delegate Poindexter.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I hope it'd be the pleasure of the body to approve this amendment and adopt this amendment. Mr. Speaker, members of the body, how this money is to be spent should not be done by regional groups or special interests somewhere, bureaucrats or advocates of any program at all. It should be spent by the people's money, by the people's representatives, Mr. Speaker. I move the adoption of the amendment.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 51, noes 48.
51, noes 48. The committee amendment's agreed to.